Hey everybody, Sickness here, and I just got back from seeing Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. I feel kind of weird giving my thoughts on a Twilight movie. I mean, it's Twilight, but I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the first three movies. I think they're good movies. A lot of people really dig these movies. They're really into them, and they're obsessed with them. In fact, my friend who I went to see it with, she is obsessed with these movies. This is actually her second time seeing it. She told me how great it was, and she wanted to. She knows how much I'm in the movie. She wanted to take me to go see it, so she paid and everything. So she's like obsessed with these movies. And me personally, I think they're good movies. I've enjoyed the first three. I own the first three. They're in my collection. I do think they're good movies, but I don't think they're anything special. I'm not obsessed with them. I just think they're mediocre films. They entertain me for 2 hours, and then when those 2 hours are up, I'm kind of like, okay, now what do you want to do? It's not like, let's say, the Harry Potter movies where, I'll talk about those for days after I watch them, and then as soon as I'm done talking about them, I'll want to watch them again because they're so epic and they're so great, and I'm just really into them. I just don't feel that way about the Twilight movies. I think they're great. Again, I enjoy them, but they're nothing special for me. They're just mediocre films. But that being said, I did really enjoy this movie. I thought it was great. I want to say it's just as good as the first three, but honestly, I think each movie, they get a little bit better as they go along. I mean, the first one, definitely the weakest, and then the second gets a little better, third a little better. And now we're to the fourth, part one of the fourth, or however you want to call it. It's pretty good. This was a pretty good movie, and I would definitely say it's the best of the entire series thus far. And again, I really did enjoy it. So basically, I don't think this review is going to be very long because I don't really have much to say about the Twilight movies. But basically, if you like Twilight, if you like the series, you like the movies, you're going to enjoy it. You're definitely going to want to see this one. Of course, if you hate the Twilight series, then you'll want nothing to do with this. Sorry, I just ate. It tastes like popcorn. Or if you're like me, and you just think they're mediocre, they're okay, you like them enough maybe to own them, but you don't think they're anything special, then you don't need to see it in the theaters. You can just wait to rent it or buy it or whatever. There's really no need to see it in the theaters. It's not like it's huge and epic and it's something you need to see in the theaters. In fact, even if you do like the movie a lot, or like the series a lot, there's really no need for you to go to the theaters and see this. There's nothing huge and epic and big about this movie that really warrants having to see this in the theaters. But, yeah, I did like it. So before I get into anything else about this, I wanted to say, spoiler alert. Again, I know there's a lot of people who are really into these movies, and if you're really into these movies and you don't really spoil it all, stop watching now, because I guess I have some things to say that might spoil it. Even though, I do find the movies just to be sort of mediocre, and I don't think they're anything overly special, this one did get me pretty pumped up to see the next part. I like where they're going with this, and this is me looking at it from the view of somebody who really digs like the vampire culture. And I mean, I'm not like a goth or anything like that. I'm not obsessed with vampires, but I am interested in it. I love vampire movies. I just, the vampire culture, it does interest me. And looking at it from that way, I am interested to see where this goes, because in this film, Bella and Edward, they do have a baby by accident. They're getting it on, and next thing you know, Bella's pregnant, and like the pregnancy's really fast and everything, and they didn't even know could happen. They were taken off guard by it. They didn't know that vampire could have pregnant a human. Even the family didn't know that was even possible. They were taken off guard by it. And so now there's this vampire baby, and the vampire baby does get born. It looks cute and everything like a normal little baby. Definitely reacts to in Bella's body kind of crazy. It almost kills her, actually. But I am interested to see where that goes. Okay, there's a vampire baby now. Well, actually, I mean, it's a vampire baby. I want to say vampire baby, but I guess it'd be half and half. I don't know. They didn't really explain that. They didn't say if it's full vampire or, what, but it definitely has some vampire qualities, because while it's in Bella's body, she needs to drink blood to feed it, because it's kind of like eating her alive from the inside, and it's basically killing her. But as soon as she starts drinking blood and kind of like taking in the blood and sort of feeding it, things start to mellow out. So it's definitely a vampire, but they don't say if it's full vampire or what. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I mean, if it's half vampire, half human, what's going to happen? I am very interested to see what happens there. Also, at the end of the movie, Bella, you think she's going to die, and she ends up, you think she's dead, but Edward did save her in time. he transformed her into a vampire, and the very last scene of the movie is Bella's eyes opening up, and they're red like a vampire. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see where that goes now she's a vampire, because most of the family kind of assumes that if she was turned, she's gonna end up being like a bloodthirsty vampire, and they're not gonna be able to control her. They are concerned about that, so I'm interested to see where that's gonna go. Also, you see, there's a lot of build up in this movie for the second one. A lot of cliffhangers. Jacob implants himself onto the baby to protect the baby because his brother wolves want to kill the baby, so he implants himself onto her, and now they're soulmates. So he's soulmates with Bella and Edward's baby, which that's kind of weird there. But I'm curious to see how that goes. And the thing I'm most curious about is if you do go see this movie, wait a little bit after the credits, because when the credits roll for maybe like a minute, and then you see they show the Vampire Council. If you remember from the last movie, the big Vampire Council thing, they show them, and they find out that the family has introduced a new vampire, and new vampire into the family, and they're all kind of you think at the end of the last movie like their problems with the family are just resolved, but no, the council is not happy with them, and something's going to go down because I guess they're not happy with this family, and I guess they want to put a stop to them, or I'm not quite sure. Again, I'm not really obsessed with these movies, but something's going to go down. I'm really curious to see about that because, personally, when it comes to all these vampires, in this movie, everybody makes fun of them. Like, oh, they sparkle, and yeah, they're a little, they're not exactly the most badass vampires in these movies. But the council, they're pretty badass. They're the vampires you see in most vampire movies. The badass, vampires, and they're the vampires I have my eye on. They're the ones I want to see what's going to go down. So, in my head, I had this huge, big, epic battle against the family and the council and the wolf pack and everything, and what's going to happen. And I got this big, epic movie in my head. Unfortunately, we are talking about Twilight here, so I'm not holding my breath on an epic movie. Will part 2 be epic? It'd be pretty cool if it was, but I don't know. I don't really see it happening just because it is Twilight. But I really hope it does. I really do have my eyes on this council to see what's going to go down now that Bella's been turned. There's a vampire baby, half human baby thing going on. I'm really curious to see what they do about that. That very much interests me. So they did end on a pretty cool cliffhanger. It did pump me up. It did get me excited to see the next movie, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I hope it's really good. I hope they don't disappoint me. I hope it's, I don't think I'll be disappointed. I'm not expecting to be disappointed in the next movie, but I'm just not expecting it to be anything epic. I'm just expecting it to be just another decent Twilight movie, probably as good maybe as part 1. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I gotta say I did enjoy the movie. It was really good. Again, if you're a fan, you're definitely going to check this one out. It was one of those movies where it kept, like, as I just said, there was like a million different cliffhangers at the end of this movie. And it was one of those movies where like it would like fade out and you'd be like, oh, there's the end of the movie. That's the cliffhanger. And then it would fade back in. You're like, oh, it's not the end of the movie. And then like 10 minutes would pass, and then they would do something, cliffhanger-ish, and then would just like show some, like pan over some trees or something. Like, all right, this is where the movie ends. And then it would start up again. So it was one of those movies where it just kept like thinking, you're like, oh, here's the ending, and then it would just start up again. Did it like 10 times at the end of the movie. But, there were like 400 cliffhangers at the end of this movie. They really left you hanging at the end of this one, where there's a lot of stuff that needs to be resolved in the next movie. So, again, I enjoyed it. I really don't know what to say. It's Twilight. I really can't talk too much about these movies because it is the Twilight series. As I said, I think they're good movies. I do enjoy them. They do entertain me for the 2 hours. But that being said, I just don't think they're anything overly special. I'm not dying to see the next movie. Like for instance, I just bought Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm really excited to see that. In fact, I'm waiting to my trip to Disney to watch it on the plane. Like I really want to watch it right now, but it's really hard for me to hold off waiting. But I really want to watch it on the plane, so I'm holding off. But I'm dying to see that movie. I've been dying to see it ever since I saw Deathly Hallows Part 1. Really want to see that. Whereas this movie, Part 2, I can wait. I'm not in any rush to see it. I'll see it maybe when it comes out, or I'll get it on DVD or Blu-ray or something and watch it then. But there's no real need to see it. I'm not, on the edge of my seat to go like, oh, I got to see how this movie, how this series ends. No, I'm interested in seeing how it ends. I hope it ends pretty cool. The movie did psych me up to see it, but not so much that I'm, in any desperate need to know how this series ends. So I guess I'm just gonna stop here. It was good. That's it. I enjoyed it, and as I said, if you are a fan of the series, or you think you're like me and you just see the series as being mediocre, decent watch, something to entertain you for a few hours, then you're definitely gonna want to see this. It is the best of the series. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Very happy I saw it. I will be buying it when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray. I'm not sure which I'll pick up. Hopefully the Blu-ray. But that's it. That's my thoughts on Twilight Breaking Dawn, Part 1. I don't know. I don't have too much to say on a movie about sparkling vampires, but it was good. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next adventures at the theater. So see you guys.